Equal pay has been a long-standing issue, and in 2024, it remains a crucial topic. Despite progress over the years, there are still significant disparities in pay between men and women, as well as other forms of wage discrimination based on factors such as race, ethnicity, and disability.
Welcome to Business Matters, a presentation of the Chamber Coalition, which comprises the New American Chamber of Commerce, the African American International Chamber of Commerce, and the Hispanic American International Chamber of Commerce. To become a chamber member, be a guest, or register for our events, go to www.nacc.nyc. That's www.nacc.nyc. Or call us at 718-722-9217. That's 718-722-9217.
A very warm welcome to everyone. We are joined by a very special guest, Ms. Bertha Lewis, who is the president and founder of the Black Institute. If you can just provide us a brief overview of your organization.
I would be happy to, and thank you for having me, Pearl.
Always a pleasure.
The Black Institute is a think tank that takes action. We are an action tank. We have 3 strategies. We do research and data, public policy, as well as organizing, all from a Black perspective and a perspective of the issues that affect people of color. Some of our issues are education, because the demographics of this country are changing, and most of the children in this country will be children of color. The environment, again, the effects of environment, whether it is pollution or healthcare, and how from the air to the water to the soil disproportionately affects Black people and people of color, but also economics, all economics, whether we have fair pay, whether we are allowed to participate as entrepreneurs of color, or whether or not we get fair wages. And finally, we have an immigration issue priority. We believe that immigrants of color, Black, brown, Asian immigrants, but in particular, Black immigrants should be considered in a comprehensive immigration reform, because our immigration system in this country is sorely broken. So that is the Black Institute. We are at theblackinstitute.org, theblackinstitute.org. And so these are the issues that we are concerned about. And if you, our listeners, are concerned about it, please go to our website and communicate with us.
Okay, great. So recently we celebrated Equal Pay Day for women, but they say, baby, you've come a long way, but we still have not reached that point. Can you, talk about how unconscious bias in the workplace can affect compensation for women, especially women of color?
Well, I believe that some bias is bias. Some people try to say, well, it was unconscious. Conscious or unconscious, bias is bias. We as women across the board only make 84 cents to every male. And this is the 21st century. Mm-hmm. That's unconscionable. It's unconscionable. We still don't have an equal rights Amendment, we still try to classify white women separate from women of color, especially black women. So uh, we should not be relegated to only certain jobs for women. We know we are a capitalist country, and yet only 2 or 3% of the CEOs of our major corporations are women, and most of them are women, white women. Now, if you are discriminatory against all women, women of color are at the bottom of that totem pole. So, what we need to be able to do, and this is especially important when we're talking about our elected officials and the kinds of policies that we enact, we have to make sure that there is no gender bias for women of color and black women especially. We are the lowest wage workers. We are exploited, and immigrant women are exploited in a most egregious way. So this country has to deal with its implicit bias against women, and especially women of color and black women in particular.
So, given all what you've said there, what steps do you believe a company can take to ensure equal pay for women, in particular women of color and immigrant women, in comparison to their male counterparts?
Well, we need to ensure that we have diversity and equity programs. As you know, there is a movement to get rid of anything that is diverse. And we have got to fight against that. We have got to make sure that we're not privatizing our education system. We've got to make sure that the jobs that women are doing get a living wage, not just a minimum wage. And we need to make sure that our elected officials actually do oversight for the people that get contracts from our government, and how companies are allowed to function. We must insist upon gender equity. We must insist, whether it is in law or in practice, that our companies, our corporations, our organizations make diversity a priority, and especially for women. The population of this country, the conventional wisdom says that women are more than half of the population. That's a majority of people in this country. So any time any woman doesn't feel as though she's being treated fairly or not getting the same pay as others, one of the policies that we should do is to make sure that pay is public, that people, we should know how much people are getting paid and not have this as a secret so that you cannot compare your pay to someone else's. We've had instances in which women have worked for 20, 30 years in a corporation and never knew that they were getting paid less than their male counterpart. Ask for that information. Find out that information. And whether you know it or not, if you feel as though you are not getting paid what you should, you must insist on getting the pay scale for your organization or your corporation or your company. And again, you must make sure that your elected officials are having oversight of what people are being paid, and that when you do equal work, you should get equal pay. And that should be public and full transparency for how companies, organizations, corporations are being paid, whether it is a government job or whether it is in the private sector.
And Miss Lewis, you mentioned that sometimes women don't realize they're not being paid the same amount, but sometimes we don't even get a raise.
Well, that's very true, because of the way society looks at gender. Some of our sisters never ask, never think to look or research and figure this out. And so many of women in this society are the heads of households, raising the families, bearing the burden of working and raising families. We have domestic workers that have to fight for just good hours and not be required to work for 24 hours a day and be on call with no break. When you are in a company, a corporation, an organization, you should look at what your male brothers are doing. What are they getting? You have the right to ask about it. Women of the world, women of New York City especially, speak up, look up, and make sure that people know you're here and you have the right to ask. You have the right to ask for a raise. You have the right to find out what everybody else is doing. There should be no pay secrets whatsoever. If you don't ask, you won't know. Don't suffer in silence. Raise your voice and ask.
So, Miss Lewis, Winifred Stanley, who was a member of the New York State Assembly, she proposed the first equal pay for equal work bill in New York, and that was in 1944. We are in 2024. What measures do you think can be implemented to encourage women's career progression and advancement into higher paying roles?
We've got to hold people accountable. You are absolutely right. This is the 21st century. Now, work has changed since 1944. Technology has done a lot to change how the work that we do and how we view work. But again, this is why women voting is so important, and why we have to keep fighting. Power concedes nothing without a demand. So that same bill, we should keep bringing it up over and over again. When someone says, oh, vote for me, ask them about the bill from 1944 and the equal pay legislation, and what are they doing to make sure that women are getting equal pay. They may say that you're rude, They may call you an angry woman,
Angry
but
black
you should
woman.
lean, and especially an angry black woman. I embrace that label. Yes, I am angry. I'm angry about discrimination. I'm angry about misogyny. And I'm angry about unequal pay. When you're angry, people will pay attention. So you can be angry and still be feminine. Anger is not just confined to males alone. Be an angry woman. Be an angry black woman. Embrace it. It will advance you. Believe me.
Okay, so looking at all the challenges and obstacles that hinder our efforts to achieve equal pay for women, how do we move forward?
Well,
How do we move
again,
at
it
all,
is
make significant progress?
again, the first thing is, we as individual women, get your mind right. Embrace the anger that's within you because all of us have a little bit of anger. So acknowledge it and embrace it and use it. Number two, everything is political. Everything. And we need to have more women to run for office. We need to support more women. And in that support, don't let people think that you can pit one woman against another. Sisters, unite. Let us support each other. Let us network with each other because you as an individual might not know everything, but network with other women. Something as simple as greeting each other, joining an organization of women. Make sure that you are not letting people divide us as women, especially black women. We have been taught to be suspicious of each other. So let us, number one, get our own minds right. Number two, support each other. And number three, run for office so that we can change the laws and change the policies.
All right, so thank you so much, Ms. Bertha Lewis, President and founder of the Black Institute.
Thank you, Pearl. And people, you can go to theblackinstitute.org and communicate with us and tell us your opinions.
Okay. All right, thank you so much.
So, Pearl,
Yes?
are we going to be able to get copies of these three segments
Of
so that
course.
we can post them up on our website in audio so that we could say, reparations?
yes,
Listen,
yes,
so can
yes.
you send that
Yes,
to us?
I can absolutely, and I have your records of all your interviews as well. I can send you the previous links if you like. They are
Yes, we
yeah
would
they
like
are
the links.
yeah.
And so when do you think these three segments will be
Can
broadcast?
so we did it today. I would say from next week. So the equal pay I will use for the business podcast and the other two for people, power, and politics. So from next week moving forward, so they have to be cleaned up and put with the intros and outros and
Sure,
everything. And then I'll
sure,
send you the
sure.
links immediately and let you know, okay?
So just, send me all of the links.
Yeah.
I really appreciate this. And, I hope that people will listen to it and, agree, disagree. That's fine.
Yeah.
As long as people are aware.
And I'm also going to be doing an article on it as well. So I'll share
Oh,
that
you're
with
going to do
you.
a print article?
Yes.
No, now that you need to send me the link to the
I
print
will.
article
I
also.
will.
When do you think that will come out?
Um, in about a week or so.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I'll send
So
it to you.
when so that comes out in a week or so in the what? The Immigrant Journal or Carib
So
Weekly?
we'll put it first of all, we'll put it on all the websites, and then we'll do us the story will come out in probably the Caribbean American Weekly and the Immigrants Journal. It will be this,
Oh,
yeah, if
good.
not both, at least one of them, yeah.
So listen, I'm going to change the subject here
All right.
because
So,
you need to do a show
uh
and print something about cannabis.
cannabis.
You know,
Okay, so Miss
now
Lewis,
cannabis
let
is legal.
let me stop the recording, and then I'll call you to talk.
Oh, okay.
Okay?
Good, good, good.
Yeah,
Because I
yeah,
want to ask you
yeah,
some things.
yeah.
So call me
Let me
right
do
back.
that, and I'll call you right back. So you can hang up now.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank
All right.
you.
Bye bye.
All right.
You are invited to the Chamber Coalition Small Business Sense Bootcamp. Join our 5-session webinar series where we provide education and business preparation for small business owners and startups. Learn the basics of business planning, how to finance your business alternatives and your credit as an asset, marketing and social media strategies, small business solutions, legal, tax, accounting, banking, and insurance, and how to do business with the government and corporations. Register at startupsbootcamp.eventbrite.com.